Hi, Embracing Only podcast family. This is Archita. We are introducing impact moments, actionable insights that highlight the best and powerful learning moments and wisdom from our past episodes of incredible guests. In this highlight reel, you'll hear leadership lessons from a combat veteran, taking action to be anti-racist, mastering workplace negotiations, leveraging your uniqueness for success. We'll take a topic and break it down in a short, snappy episode. So click on the link in the show notes to continue listening to these impact moments with our amazing guests. You have made so many different transitions and pivots in many different ways. Having gone through a significant transition myself, leaving the corporate world after 20 years, it was easier than stepping into the solopreneurship world. This conversation about the process of letting go, because you're going to have a sense of loss. You're going to lose a lot of even parts of yourself as you let go of parts of yourself in this transition. We were chatting and you hinted at this on one of your most recent LinkedIn posts about an upcoming transition. It's a significant transition for a lot of folks to consider. Help walk us through what brought you here and how you're navigating that sense of loss of different parts of yourself as you embrace this new self in your journey.
I've been in the creative space for over 20 years, and I feel like I'm just ready for something else, something different. And I'm not afraid to try new things. I'm not afraid of people's opinions of me trying new things. I know family members would be like, oh my gosh, what are you doing now? Maximize your potential. And I feel like I'm at that stage right now where I want to do something more meaningful, more impactful for the world on a bigger scale. Yes, writing and showing people how to write helps some people, but I feel like the path I'm on now can create a bigger impact, have more meaning in my life, and create more meaning for someone else. That's the journey I'm on right now.
Yes, and I heard what she's going to be doing, and I'm super excited, but I'll let you announce it to the world when you do. I know for a fact you're going to make such a big difference on so many people's lives because you're an amazing listener and you create so much space. I confessed to her, Olivia, when we first got on, I was like, I'm going to just keep talking. So if you need me to shut up, just tell me to be like, Achita, can you shut up for a minute? I just want to hear my thoughts. That's okay. You create space. And I think that's just such a beautiful thing to have. So I'm excited for your transition. Are you afraid in any way, shape, or form? Not in a bad way, because fear is not bad either. But are you afraid of parts of yourself that you might lose as you transition into this new exciting thing you're going to be going on?
I think there are parts of myself that can be adapted to what I'm going to be doing. So as far as losing parts of myself, no. And that's a part of the brand strategist or former brand strategist in me, is knowing how to reposition and make it work for this new thing.
Because I love your confidence in yourself, right? You were so sure. I love that because there are so many women. We are not firm in that. And we had two guests before you that were more tenured ladies. They were so sure. When we asked them, why are you so sure? And they were like, girl, 60 years of life experience. For you, you're so much younger, but you have the same firmness in your direction, in your belief in yourself, in what you want out of life, that you're like, oh, I'm not going to get this shit. That's not going to happen to me because I know what I'm doing. Like, I know what I'm after. And I just want to share this with our audience. If you are listening and you're like, man, how do these ladies get so sure? How do they get so firm in their direction? I would like to offer you this explanation. It's because they know what they want. I want your opinions on this. Maybe I'm off, but I think fundamentally, over the thousands of women that I've spoken to on the podcast, one thing holds true. When you are sure about what you want, no one can knock you off your path. If you skip that step, being super sure about what you want, you're going to float around like a ship without a rudder. You're just going to get pushed and pulled by the tides, other people, their agendas and opinions. If you are not sure of where you're going, you may not know how you're going to get there. You need to know where you're headed. Do you agree, or do you think there's more to that?
No, I agree. During my early days in undergrad, going through art school, I wasn't sure of what I wanted. I did float around and bounce around, and it was a 4-year degree and it took me 5 years. Why? Because I wasn't sure. Should I try this? Should I do that? What if I miss out on this? Just develop a habit of making a decision and going after it. After those consistent habits, you'll become more confident in your decision making, in making the right decision for you. And eventually you'll just know, okay, this is what I want to do. And this is how I'm going to do it.
I know, Archita, you have a question, but I want to double click on that real quick. Is there an exercise that you do? What is it that you do? Because we want to give our listeners some real practical tools. Obviously, you experience the bouncing around. Everybody has, right? I did it. Archita did it. Sometimes, occasionally, I still do it. And I'm like, dang it, I'm doing it again. And like, you gotta pull it, rein it back in, right? What do you do to get sure?
I'm a very strategic person. I like to plan things. I like to write things out. So I do like the pros and cons, like what if this happens, okay, what's the outcome? If it doesn't happen, what's the outcome for that? And it's kind of like balancing the scales. For me, it's just like figuring out what are the positives and negatives of not following through with this and how will it affect me? I don't like to have regrets, just lessons that I learned. So how would it affect me? What would the lesson be? And how can I either minimize that or go full force and make it a reality?
I love it. I think at the end of the day, your upbringing helped build that resilience where you're just like, come high or whatever, low water or whatever that saying is, I'm going to go do it anyway. At least so come what may, you're like, I'm going through this. I'm going to make this happen. But then not just that, you then have clarity in that decision. A lot of times people make a decision, go into it, and then they're stumbling through that decision, finding a way out, which is ridiculous because then you're not giving your whole self into that decision. And what you've walked us through is you build that clarity, make that decision, and then go after it. You recognize there will be pivots, and that's okay. But then at that point in time, you reevaluate your pros, your cons, lessons learned, and then you charge forward again. Being an engineer, sometimes you almost want to have a blueprint like 5 years forward, and you cannot. Like you just, I feel like in our early years of our career, to a certain degree, we can have that, like early in our lives, right? Not even just careers, earlier in our lives. But as we grow, we accumulate all these experiences. If we still think that what got us through our first years of our careers will be what gets us through the next 45, it's absurd. I think what I'm hearing is that you're adapting to those learnings, but using clarity and decision making as a way to move forward.
I think our biggest obstacle is ourselves, and we need to give ourselves more grace, forgive ourselves for mistakes, and use those lessons to make better decisions going forward.
Forgive ourselves for the mistakes we have made. That is a journey, and that's therapy and everything in its own right. But the sooner you get past that point, that drives further clarity, essentially, in helping move forward.
And there's no other way to say it. You are going to make mistakes. Your job is to learn, figure out what you want, and be relentless in the pursuit of it, come what may. You make a mistake, no problem. Be like, well, blew that up. How many mistakes I make daily? She's probably the same. I probably blew up 50 things at work today. It's all recoverable. We need to stop being so afraid of those mistakes. I'll add this last one because I think it's important and it's top of mind from a conversation at work today. Ladies, we have to change our relationship with feedback. When you get the right people in your corner, they should be giving you feedback if they are there to help you along your way. Your mission is to know who to accept the feedback from.
Yes.
Because like you mentioned, you got feedback on your posts that was non-constructive from idiots that had not earned a space in your mind, right? They were not there to serve a purpose. well-intended yahoos or non-well-intended yahoos, right? Those are not the people that you make space for to give you feedback. But your village, even if the feedback is spicy and you're like, ow, okay, that hurt, take the feedback. It's a gift to make you better on the other side of it.
Yes, I agree. Feedback is essential if you want to grow, and taking feedback from the right people is also important. Feedback you don't want to hear may bite, but sometimes it's necessary and it gives you that extra perspective that you didn't have before. So I think a lot of feedback can be seen as constructive, even the feedback that come from people that maybe are not your people. You can learn from them, learn how not to be when it comes to giving other people feedback and how you show up in their spaces.